The secret of the Anunnaki gods, the angels of Sumer, and the strange vehicles of the Bible. At the threshold of a new era of knowledge, where science intertwines with mystery, we venture into the depths of humanity's past to unravel the enigmas that have fascinated generations. Against this mystical background, we invite you to explore a story thousands of years old that still raises fundamental questions about our origins, the secret of the Anunnaki gods, the angels of Sumer, and the strange vehicles of the Bible. When we look at the starry sky, it is impossible for us not to ask ourselves, where did we come from, who are we, and, above all, have we been visited by civilizations from other worlds? The ancient legend of the Sumerian people, one of the oldest civilizations of mankind, gives us clues about a possible connection between heaven and earth, between the human and the divine. This mysterious civilization, with deep roots in human history, bequeathed to us a series of fascinating accounts of the Anunnaki gods, those of royal blood, who allegedly came to Earth from a distant world known as Nibiru or Planet X. In this labyrinth of time, we wonder how the Sumerians had such advanced astronomical knowledge as to describe a planet unknown to modern science until recently. Their stories about the Anunnaki not only present us with a mysterious past, but also challenge us to look to the future with different eyes, wondering when these gods will visit us again. As we dig deeper, we find that the story of the Anunnaki is intertwined with biblical narratives, opening the way to amazing interpretations and connections between ancient texts and the supernatural events described in the Bible. From the chariots of fire in the biblical heavens to the mysterious vehicles described by Ezekiel, we wonder if these accounts are not actually early evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. While some may see these stories as mere myth and legend, we cannot ignore the fact that many ancient civilizations, from the Sumerians to the Egyptians to the Greeks, described flying beings and objects that were beyond the technological understanding of their time. These narratives challenge us to think beyond the limits of our current knowledge and question our true origins. In this mysterious context, we invite you to join us on an incredible journey into the distant past of humanity, to explore together the ancestral connections with the Anunnaki gods and to discover the untold secrets of our history. It is a story about the search for truth, the struggle between good and evil, and humanity's eternal desire to discover who they were and where we came from. Through this journey, we hope not only to illuminate the past, but also to open doors to the future, leaving you to wonder, what other secrets are waiting to be revealed? So get ready to step into a universe where history meets mystery and reality meets fiction, and a millennia-old tale that continues to fascinate and challenge us. The secret of the Anunnaki gods, the angels of Sumer, and the strange vehicles of the Bible. A journey into the unknown, where each discovery brings us closer to understanding our place in the vast cosmos. You may be wondering why the Sumerian legend is significant in a study of Noah's flood. As we shall see later, Sumer was founded by Noah's great-grandson and is also the location of Abraham's original home. Sumer has very strong biblical connections and is a key component in piecing together a clearer picture of the post-flood period. According to legend, the Anunnaki were looking for a new leader, and Marduk answered the call. He is promised the position of ruling god if he can help them occupy heaven. Marduk's symbol was the serpent dragon, both common references used for Lucifer in the Bible. According to the Sumerians, after the Anunnaki rebellion, Marduk created humans to be the servants of the gods, and later he becomes a protector of Babylon. If Marduk and Lucifer are one and the same, this should help us figure out what was going on in ancient Sumer. The Anunnaki were the gods of the Sumerians, one of the oldest known cultures on the planet. Strangely, the name Anunnaki has been interpreted as those of royal blood or princely descendants. In various parts of the Bible, angels are indeed referred to as royalty. The phrase sons of God signifies royalty. Angels are also referred to as princes in the books of Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel. The Anunnaki were considered to be the gods of the earth and the underworld, but the gods of the heavens were referred to as the Igigi. Most of Sumerian literature revolves around these gods of the earth and the underworld, so this section will be very important to the rest of the book. The concept of a war in heaven predates the Bible. It is likely that this story was passed down to Noah, and when their children and grandchildren passed it on, it became cemented in human history. The Anunnaki are believed to be humanoid beings at least 8 feet tall who came to Earth from their homeworld, the Crossroads planet. Their planet is also known by other names, such as Nibiru or Planet X, in modern culture. The Sumerians referred to it as the 12th planet because they also counted the Sun and the Moon as planets. We know of 9 planets, plus the Sun and the Moon, which means only 11 heavenly bodies. Here is an interesting excerpt from the December 31st, 1983 edition of the Washington Post. A possible celestial body, so close to Earth as to be part of this solar system, has been found in the direction of the constellation Orion by a telescope orbiting along the coast of the U.S., an infrared astronomy satellite. So mysterious is the object that astronomers do not know if it is a planet. So close, in fact, that it would be the closest celestial body to Earth beyond the farthest planet, Pluto. The first question that should be asked is, how exactly did the Sumerians know about the 12th planet at the level of their technology? According to the Sumerians, the Anunnaki gave them this knowledge, and we will be visited again by the Anunnaki in the future. The Sumerians believed that the planet of the Crossroads had an elliptical orbit, passing through our solar system once every 3,600 years. The Sumerian tablets also speak of the Anunnaki creating humans by combining their own DNA with the indigenous life that was already on Earth. The Anunnaki added their DNA to the indigenous life on Earth, confirming that animals were created before humans, as stated in Genesis. How did the Sumerians know about DNA and the creation of hybrids so early in human history? Ecclesiastes comes to mind when we consider this question. Another Sumerian belief, which was the basis of the movie Stargate and the television series Stargate SG-1, is that the gods built the pyramids and used humans as slaves. Patrick Heron, the best-selling Christian author, is best known for his book, The Nephilim and the Pyramid in Revelation. In his book, he presents a large amount of evidence showing that fallen angels may have been involved in the construction of the Great Pyramid. His research proves to be useful for taking a look at the strange history of humanity. The Anunnaki were not the gods they claimed to be, they were just fallen angels who took refuge here on Earth after their war in heaven. Their intention was and is to deceive and manipulate the cultures they present themselves to turn our attention away from the true and living God. While the Sumerians have detailed records of these beings, who they claim lived among them, there were other civilizations across the ocean that experienced similar events. Strange vehicles in the Bible. Another powerful ship is described to us when God guides his people through the desert in a column of clouds, smoke, as it is narrated in Exodus 19-20. On one side it was smoke and darkness, and on the other side light at night. And one group does not join the other group throughout the night. It's easy to imagine what this airplane-type ship could be, with the propulsion engine in the tail, smoke and darkness, and the well-lit cockpit in front. For this reason, the two groups did not join each other. Poor Moses witnessed countless landings and takeoffs of God's ships. Many times he entered the spaceship to talk with God, to study projects of the things he had to build as they were presented to him by God in person, Exodus 25-40. See, to do all this according to the project that he gave you I pointed to the mountain. God always warns Moses about his arrival in the spaceship on Mount Sinai, and the people had to be warned about these arrivals in order not to approach or even touch the foot of the mountain, because there they would have met their death. Exodus 11-12, tell the people to be ready for the day after tomorrow, because the Lord will come down before the eyes for all the people to see him on Mount Sinai. Draw a boundary around the mountain to the people and tell them, be careful not to climb the mountain and touch anything from it, because whoever touches the mountain will die. Another strange phenomenon, created also to put fear in your bones, was the way God always spoke to the people in the clouds, but only if his ship was present in the Israelites' field. Nowadays you can talk from an airplane with the help of a speakerphone. When the cloud was not present in the field of the Jews, God spoke to them with the help of the ark, or as the priests say, the nail of the law, so that we do not understand what it is. A series of scientists built this ark of reconciliation, respecting all the details that the Bible gives us. This device was covered with gold, which is one of the best electrical conductors, and performed several functions. It functioned as a transmission reception station, as a powerful conductor of electricity, but also as a sonar. For this reason, the Levites needed special clothing to avoid electrocution. God tells Moses to warn his brother of the danger of death when he enters the room where the nail is. Leviticus 16:2, tell your brother Aaron not to enter the holy place beyond the inner curtain, before the atonement cover that is on the peg, so that he does not die, because above the atonement cover I will appear in the cloud. The nail had a magical power for the Israelites. With the help of this object, the walls of the city of Jericho were destroyed because it generates sound waves. It works like a sonar, as I have already said, and without these infernal vibrations, the great and grandiose walls of the most powerful ancient city could not have been destroyed. The Lord's chosen did not do magic, nor were they helped by any boundless potency of God, but by his destructive technology. Aliens are not the only beings in history that have been depicted in a flying machine. The Sumerians, Egyptians, Greeks, and Persians all depicted some of their gods using flying machines and flying chariots as a means of transportation. In the Bible, angels are depicted in fiery chariots capable of flight. Perhaps the strangest incident in the Bible involved Ezekiel and the wheel inside another wheel. In almost every UFO book and on almost every UFO website, we find a reference to Ezekiel's wheels. The biblical text is used by many ancient astronaut theorists as proof of extraterrestrial activity in the Bible. Before we get into the theories about this text, let's take a look at the text itself. I looked at these living creatures, and behold, on the earth, besides the living creatures, there was a wheel on each of their 4 faces. The appearance of these wheels and the material of which they were made looked like chrysolite, and all 4 were of the same design. Their appearance and composition were such that each wheel seemed to be in the midst of another wheel, Ezekiel 15:15. The image above is what some people believe Ezekiel saw in his vision. Whatever it was that he saw, he tried to convey the information to us as best he could. Even when we study the Hebrew verse, there is not much clarity, but one aspect of the story stands out. The creatures that Ezekiel saw were not inside the wheels, but the wheels moved in unison with them. They didn't seem to need wheels to move through the air. Angelic technology seems to play a very important role throughout the Bible. From what the Bible tells us, God encourages learning, and angels are not omniscient. It would make sense for angels to develop a means of transportation to and from other planets, galaxies, and dimensions. Unlike Christ, who claimed to be omnipresent, angels seem to have to travel the distance from point A to point B. One such example is found in Daniel 10. He said to me, Daniel, don't be afraid of anything. For your words have been heard from the first day when you set your heart to understand and humble yourself before your God, and it is precisely because of your words that I come now. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia stood against me for 21 days, but behold, Michael, one of the most important princes, came to my aid, and I emerged victorious there, beside the kings of Persia. Angels may be able to change from spiritual to physical instantaneously, but it seems that they are actually required to travel the distance. The angel in the book of Daniel states that he was sent from the very first day when Daniel began his fast, but was intercepted by the ruler of the kingdom of Persia. This prince of Persia delayed the angel's journey 20 days. If angels could simply teleport or manifest in the physical world, he probably wouldn't have been delayed. While they were walking talking, behold, a chariot of fire and some horses of fire separated them from one another, and Elijah ascended to heaven in a whirlwind. On the surface, the event that happened to Elijah and Elisha does not seem unusual in the context of the Bible. It actually seems pretty normal, at least until we read about it in Hebrew. The Hebrew word translated horse is kyuk, which literally means to leap or leap. It is also translated swallow, bird, and stork, bird. The translators of 1611 did the best they could with the knowledge available at the time, and made the logical assumption that it was horses. Both Ezekiel and Elijah witnessed something and experienced something that they could not accurately describe with their knowledge of their day. This is a call to all truth seekers, time travelers, and space explorers, invited to walk in the footsteps of the Annunaki Gods and turn over every stone of history in search of answers to the questions that have haunted us since the dawn of civilization. In a world where the lines between science and mysticism are becoming increasingly blurred, the story of the Anunnaki serves as a bridge to a past full of question marks and mystery. What other secrets lie buried in the ancient ruins of Sumer or beneath the coded letters of biblical texts? Our journey with the Anunnaki revealed to us a world where heaven and earth were connected by more than mere beliefs and prayers, a world where the gods walked alongside humans, imparting their wisdom and advanced technology. But this discovery brings us to even deeper questions. What does our connection with these celestial beings really look like? Were the Anunnaki just visitors from other worlds, or are they integral parts of the fabric of our existence? And if the vehicles described in ancient texts were indeed alien technology, what does this tell us about our ability to understand and use technology for purposes beyond our imagination? How close or far are we, humanity today, to discovering and using such technologies that can transport us beyond the stars? As we close this chapter of our journey, we look back on the road we've traveled, realizing that each answer we find only opens the door to new questions, to other puzzles waiting to be unraveled. In this cosmic odyssey, we are all bound by the desire to know more, to better understand the universe and our place in it. It is time to ask, what comes after this exploration of our ancestral and cosmic past? How will this search change our understanding of our own existence and the future of humanity? And perhaps most importantly, when the Anunnaki decide to return, how will we welcome them? So stay with us on this incredible journey, as the untold stories of our cosmic past are just waiting to be discovered. The secret of the Annunaki Gods, the angels of Sumer, and the strange vehicles of the Bible. This is not only a story about our origin, but also about our destiny. What other mysteries await us in the next chapters of this interstellar odyssey? As we unravel these linguistic and cultural conundrums, we are invited to view human history through a new prism in which the line between the divine and the extraterrestrial becomes increasingly blurred. This journey into the depths of sacred texts and ancient history can give us not only answers to questions about who we are and where we come from, but also a new view of our place in the cosmos and our potential interactions with other civilizations in the vastness of the universe. Only time and continued exploration of knowledge will reveal the answers. Get ready, because the journey continues, and the next discovery may be just around the corner.